Welcome back to ICAD 2017 with Creative Katie. That's me, Karen Burchill. This is ICAD number 18, and it's entitled Plan A. The prompt was alphabetize. Supplies used can be found in the description box. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check the notification setting to be notified of upcoming videos. So I have this alphabet stencil. It is actually a quarter of the stencil. I just cut it into 4 parts. It comes with 4 different ones. And it's never been used, as I can say with this alphabet stamp as well. So I dug this out and I thought, well, now would be the perfect time to use it. So I'm just using my StazOn black and stamping some alphabet in the background. And as I look at this stamp, I'm thinking, you know what, I need to find some uses for this. I have some quotes that I printed out, and again, these quotes I sourced from Pinterest. If you go to my Pinterest board, the link is in the description box, you can find the one that's entitled ICAD quotes. And, you know, I just put any quotes that seem to go with the prompts. And you're more than welcome to go there and look at what I've kind of pre-selected. So I'm using flexible modeling paste through this alphabet stencil. And I'm just putting it on in different areas, drawing in between. Some of the letters have big spaces, like the B, the round part of the B. They don't have, and I don't want that, so I'm kind of piecemealing this one, which is taking time in between. The flexible modeling paste with the heat tool actually dries rather quickly. And anything that you don't like or you don't want, you can just easily scrape off without any problem. If you put the heat tool too close, or it will bubble, which does give a nice effect. You may want to choose to do that. But if you don't, then you need to keep the heat tool further away and not as long. If you don't have modeling paste, you can use gesso, especially if your gesso is on the thicker side. And I will put a link to that video where I use gesso as a resist. So once I'm done, I'm just going to take time to wash the stencil. And I am back using my distress crayons, and I pulled the cool colors this time. And I'm going to just apply this on, and I think I chose 3 colors, a purple, a blue, and 2 blues on this one. And in Renji, in her video, she said you can use gel medium to activate and blend gelatos, and you know, I'm taking it to be the same with distress crayons. So the purple there, it's a very light pale one, not exactly what I want, so I grab a darker, more violet purple, and I'm just blending it with the gel medium. Now, because the gel medium is clear, you don't mute the colors as you saw happen a couple videos, ICAD videos ago. So the colors stay very vivid. What also happens is you really can't reactivate the distress crayons. The gel medium seems, if you've covered it completely, it seems to seal the distress crayons. So if I wanted to do a resist here and rub off like the high points of the stencil right here, it really doesn't work. So I'm going to give it that look in another way. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put darker color on it instead of lighter to bring out the texture. And that's what I'm trying here. And it works somewhat, but it doesn't do the whole trick. So you'll see what I do later. But right now you can see that you really can't make out a lot of that texture. And you could choose that's what you want. So I decide I'm just going to edge this in black with black acrylic paint. And then I grab my Dilutions white and I'm just rubbing it with the pad of my finger on the high points of the texture paste, the alphabet stenciled textured. And that's just bringing out the letters a little bit more. So instead of rubbing it off like I did in the ICAD two back, I'm just adding color to bring out the texture. So I decided to go with this quote: if plan A doesn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. And I have this angry or crazy bird that I had stamped, and it's been sitting in my stash for probably a year. So when I go to stamp, I often stamp a whole page and then cut up and throw it in the stash. And that way I don't have to drag out everything for every project. So I'm just, using the distress crayons again and just rubbing it in. You do see me later, I grab a brush and I add a little bit of water to color it in. Now back to the quote, I just typed it and chose the font, and then I chose background color, and that gives you the white text with the black background. And I must say, I really haven't used that a lot, but it's something that I'm really enjoying using. So in the last week or so with the ICADs, you see me having a lot of sayings that are with the black background, and it's really easy to do. So here I'm just adding more and kind of adding a little bit of shading by layering more of the same color on top. Now I chose the violet color that I used in the background because I want this all to go together. Alternatively, I could have used the yellow or an orange, which would be kind of the complementary color scheme, and that would really pop. Both would look lovely. So I grab my micron pen and I'm just adding in some of the details that got faded when I applied the distress crayon on it. And I love that you can still write on top of the distress crayon. Every once in a while I'm scribbling off on the piece of paper to the side when I get any kind of buildup on the tip, but it continues to work. It's not a struggle to do this. Want him to pop, and I want to get rid of the white, so I'm just edging it with the black acrylic paint that's on this felt applicator. And I want it to be a little bit darker. The white needs to be a little brighter, I guess, so that the bird pops a little bit more, stands off. So I'm just adding just another layer of white. And I'm really happy with this. This background is just luscious. Then with the dilutions, I just watered it down a little bit and did some white splatters. Yummy. And drying it. I'm going to adhere the bird and um, the sentiment with the gel medium. And you can see I'm putting the gel medium on top of the colored distress, and there's no movement of the distress crayon. Now there was no gesso on top of that bird, so that might be why the color, the pigment soaked right into the paper. And I'm just positioning the sentiment and deciding to not put it perfectly straight. And I want it a little bit darker. Now that I have the sentiment on there with the black, I just want a little bit darker, bolder black to edge this. And I grab my Stabilo and decide, hey, you know what, I'm just going to shade around the bird. So I'm putting the Stabilo and rubbing, and then didn't quite get the effect I want, so just activating it. And again, because I use the gel medium to blend the distress crayons, they do not move. Whereas the one entitled Dance, if I had done this, it would have moved. It did move. But on that one, I added more distress crayon after I blended it with the white dilutions paint. So here are some close-ups. Really loving how this ICAD turned out. The background has lots of interest. And I was able to use stuff that was already in my stash. And a stencil and a stamp that I have not used. In total, this one took about 25 minutes